Welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. From the bus leagues to the big leagues, the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast has got you covered. Here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is episode number 131, and today we're going to do a trade deadline thing. We did have a guest lined up. Jeff, you were in St. Louis. The guest had a scheduling conflict that came up last minute. Not going to say who it is. I'm probably going to have him next week. And it just, instead of trying to last minute get somebody else to fill in, we got a lot to talk about. Plus, we got busy. Look, I'm heading to New York in the morning. So I'm taking my youngest son to New York. And so it was just kind of a busy week. But the guest that we were going to have is right now scheduled for next Friday.
That's right.
All right. So this is a big name. We're not going to say yet. Well, later in the week, we'll probably let you know when we get some good confirmation. But we got a lot to talk about. And I want to call it trade deadline because you were in St. Louis for trade deadline.
I was.
And first, let's go where the Rangers are sitting right now.
Okay.
I mean, trade deadline happens. The Rangers are 52 and 57. Again, 5 games under 500. They're 4.5 games out because nobody in the West will grab a hold of it and just go.
Yeah.
It's the only lucky thing the Rangers have. Rangers are 5-5 in their last 10, and they lost 2. I mean, this is it's not an anomaly. This is a team hovering around 500 who can't – they're just not putting it together.
Well, I guess, at this point in the season, they are who they are, and I know
until the bats wake up.
Well, I don't know that they're gonna. It's been 109 games.
Yeah.
Chris Young thinks they're going to, and
Bochy thinks they're going
to. They don't really have any choice but to hope for that. The bats, there's a seller's market. It was probably too expensive to get any bats, but
who were they?
There weren't like a lot of the big earth shattering moves out there. Randy Arozarena was probably the biggest.
And they weren't going to get a
name that moved, but I mean, you look at him; he's a 200 hitter this year. So
they weren't going to get. The only name that they were linked to was Yandy Diaz, and nobody got him. So it must have been a big ask, and I don't blame them for that.
Well, the Rays had traded away Isaac Paredes, who's an all-star to the Cubs, and that's probably there's no. There was no Mark Teixeira deal out there.
No, there was. It was that wasn't.
So anyway, they did add a catcher, Carson Kelly. They addressed something that's been fairly glaring all season.
Traded Lorenzen.
Traded Michael Lorenzen. Probably just a good baseball move. Got a left-handed reliever named Walter Pennington, who's from the great state of Colorado.
You have a special heart for that.
That's right. He's in the club.
He went to Colorado of the Mines.
Colorado School of Mines.
School of Mines, right.
Which is in Golden, Colorado, which is where I lived my last few years of high school before I went to TCU and all that stuff.
The Coors Brewery is in Golden.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty close. If you are familiar with the foothills in Colorado as you're driving on I-70 going west into the mountains, you look off and there's the Table Mesa and there's an M made out of stone. Well, it's for the School of Mines. So if anybody's ever wondered what that M is, there's your answer. And we can talk to Walter Pennington about it sometime.
I know a little bit about Colorado School of Mines. My son, who's about to go off to college next year, that was kind of, he wants to be an engineer. That's a big engineering school.
I think that's the only reason you go to school there.
Yeah. And they do have sports. They got a football team. They have a baseball team.
Their football team's Division III, pretty good
and all of that, but also very expensive.
Yeah.
So he kind of learned very early on that if you don't get some money on the deal, you're not going to Colorado School.
Yeah, I had a niece who just graduated from there not long ago, so a lot of ties to Mines, and now
he's already pitched too.
Walter Pennington and I are big buddies, and we haven't even spoken. So but anyway, and then they acquired Andrew Chafin, the Yosemite Sam looking mustache, and
he's a favorite everywhere he goes.
Mullet, and we talked to him, and he, if you haven't read any stories on him, do a Google search. They're pretty entertaining, and
he's a funny guy,
funny guy, but unique, and he has a YouTube channel. He farm in the off season. He does a lot of projects and such. So he lives in an RV during the season rather than getting getting an apartment or a house. And so the RV is driving down to Dallas somehow. I guess we didn't talk to him about that the other day. It was kind of a whirlwind thing for him, but he's good, and teams want him every trade deadline. I think this is the fourth time he's been traded. So, so if you look at the surface of the surface moves, they're good moves.
Yeah.
And if this was a contending team that just needed a few pieces,
these were the pieces.
That was it. But they just need the rest of the improvement has to come from internally. And
exactly.
They got Josh Young back. That's going to take a little time. He only had 10 at bats at Round Rock.
Didn't really have a spring training.
I'm sorry, Frisco
didn't have a spring training.
Yeah, he hasn't played a lot of baseball here lately, but he had some good swings, hit some balls hard, and then but it sounds like that Bruce Bochy, he didn't say who, but he said the guys are going to be, a few guys have been put on notice that it's time for them to pick up the production. And
I can make a guess.
You can throw a dart and you probably wouldn't be wrong, but Adolis Garcia is at the top of the list. And,
yep.
And Jonah Heim is in a heck of a slump right now, and I know he's hit some home runs of late, but his OPS is down around 600, which is not good.
Yep.
And so is Carson Kelly going to play a little more? His OPS is over 700. I don't know, but I do know, and I would assume that Leody Taveras is on that list as well, because now that Josh Young is back, you got to find a place for Josh Smith.
Exactly.
Might be left field. Well, you don't really want to sit Wyatt Langford, so
right.
Wyatt Langford can play center field.
Sure.
So where does that leave Leody Taveras? Well, it leaves him on the bench probably.
Or if they're going to start sitting Adolis and he's not going to play, then maybe Langford's your right fielder, and then
I don't know that he's ever played right. Taveras can play right.
I'm about to say Taveras maybe might move over to right field and do that.
Although I don't know that helps your defense.
No, but hey, the pitching wasn't good at the last two games of St.
Well, I mean, really the road trip, the pitching wasn't good. The Sunday game at Toronto, John Gray was hurt, so you kind of, that screwed up the whole works. And, but the Saturday effort from Lorenzen, he actually pitched better the next day. And and if he goes out on a kind of like a hero,
he really did.
At least his teammates think of him that way, because he.
Well, if you're a fan, you have to think of him that way for what he did.
Stuck his neck out there and pitched the day after starting and went 4 innings, and it was pretty good. But just the St. Louis, the win on Monday was nice, and then the next 2 games were just complete duds. So,
but it was all around bad. They played bad defense. They were just it was just bad.
It was, but for as much as you could say, the rotation, the Rangers got outscored 18-2. Pitching wasn't great. It wasn't, but the pitching on the whole this year has been the team's strength. Now, all right, so they had a bad week, but the offense is just not happening. And I think just kind of
this day off probably helps.
Well, hopefully, but
you think they'll make moves today?
I don't know.
Is there an arm they need to get or anything?
Well, they're going to start Jose Urena.
Yeah, I've heard that's coming.
I don't know that the day off. Everybody should be fine. If
everybody's available,
everybody should be. All the relievers should be reset. Everything should be okay. But you're going to need a long guy probably behind Urena. So what does that do for Saturday? Because they haven't announced Saturday's starter yet. So it's going to be Dane Dunning. I would think in a perfect world, it would be him because he's more stretched out than Cody Bradford, but they could do an opener than Bradford than Dunning. I mean, they have a lot of possibilities. I mean, I kind of threw this out in the newsletter today. Maybe Jack Leiter's on the radar. I don't know. I mean,
I saw that. Yeah.
Even if you just get 3 innings out of him,
look, he can go up and down too. So he can come up here and fill in a spot and do something. Because who is the rotation right now? You've got Eovaldi,
Scherzer, Heaney, and then blank and blank, and one of those blanks is going to be Tyler Mahle. He pitched well Wednesday, in his last rehab.
He had one dud inning, and it was kind of a weird thing where he had a couple of. I read something on it, but then he shut him down for the last 3 innings or whatever. It was. That slider. Have you seen any of those videos? Some of the videos that were put out from Brown Rock. That slider's amazing.
Well, great. So anyway, he's going to be a starter, and that's good.
Right.
And then you're still going to have a spot that needs to be filled. I would just assume Dunning, but Urena has been so good this year. So anyway, so they're they're actually a little thin right now until Gray gets back, and it could be the end of the month. Maybe he's hoping a little bit sooner than
Well,
that.
if it's the end of the month, it could also be DeGrom who's starting to.
Yeah. You know, I still think that
DeGrom said that he felt good, right?
Oh yeah, he hasn't had any problems. He still hasn't thrown live batting practice. He's going to throw today off the mound at the ballpark to kind of get the. He said all the technology on him and everything right, but then he has to throw live batting practice, and you think that's going to be. You know, I think Malley had to throw 4. So you know, if DeGrom has to throw 4, then he's not going to go out till the middle of the month and won't be ready until probably Labor Day. Maybe they cut back a live, and maybe they cut back a rehab start and let him finish his progression on the mound. Because I mean, everybody who's watched him pitch has been like, "Holy crap, this guy could compete right now."
Yeah,
it's been that good. And
but that's a howitzer on that right arm, and you are going to protect that with the money you've spent. Don't look. This team, Jacob DeGrom is not the reason that they're not in the playoffs. No. They've got to pick up and do their own thing. That's just a bonus to get him back at the end.
Look, if they're in contention, and you can go into September with rotation of Valdi, DeGrom, Scherzer, Malley, and you know, and then I don't care who the 5th starter is. I mean, it could be Heaney
as a lefty, or you could have Bradford as a lefty, or you could go
Gray. You know, but anyway, you're going to have a real good rotation, and if you can get into the playoffs with those top 4 starters, the Rangers have a legitimate chance to be to
make a run.
Yeah, but
you got to get in the tournament.
But to make a run, you got to score some runs,
and that's where
they're it's just I think the other day, Wednesday, it was hot in St. Louis and muggy, and they didn't hit for crap and for 2 straight games, and I think they were really kind of bothered. I think they were upset. They didn't want to answer any questions.
Good. They need to be pissed.
It's. I'm sure they're tired of answering the same questions, but it's the same thing that's going on with this team, but look, if they want the questions to stop, then play better, it's not our fault. And so, yeah, it's just completely unexpected. I know offense is down around the league, but it's not down as much as the Rangers are down from where they were last year.
Right.
And they have 3 hitting coaches, right? I mean, what are they doing? It's hard to, when you have a couple of guys struggling, okay, you can work with them. But when you have 7 of 9 guys who need your help, it's tough. And obviously the league made an adjustment somewhere, and but it runs deeper than not being able to hit the fastball. There just seems to be something.
It's approach, it's selection. You've got your guys like Seager and even Simeon who do like to ambush people, and they like to get up there and swing early. But there's been some times when you really need them to go up there and take a few pitches, and there's still, or Jonah come up, and Jonah came up in a situation the other day where they had runners ready to go to score, and he swings at the first pitch. Yeah. And pops out or whatever he does. It's like right there, you're screaming, let's.
Yeah. And there are some situations like, all right, this is old school baseball, but if you're trailing, you don't swing until the pitch throws you a strike.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make them work, trying to see if you can get a walk, trying to put them in put yourself in a favorable count.
Right.
All right. And then you can look at averages and see, hey, what, first pitch, sometimes, a lot of times
is your best pitch.
That average league wide is higher than later in counts. But
you think with the way
think that there's, I think there's a couple things. I think there's too much information going through their heads. I think that they're, all these numbers and data and this and that. And you're, instead of watching the game and seeing what the pitcher's doing, you're relying more on his tendencies those tendencies are not guarantees. That's my problem with analytics is, you know, it's a likelihood that something's going to happen. Well, there's a likelihood that something else is going to happen.
Sure.
And pitchers are smart enough to mix things up, but if you sit and watch the game instead of looking at your iPad or whatever, you're gonna be able to pick up on these things.
Did you see the Ron Washington video?
Yeah,
hysterical. Who was it that they was coming out?
I don't remember, but I mean,
he said, "I told him you're not going to get out of it by looking at an iPad."
yeah. I mean, it's a real thing, and Wash isn't the only one who thinks that. I mean, there are Rangers people who think that, and
if you watch the movie Moneyball, Grady Fuson felt that way too, as he was telling him, there's things that we know, and he's right. Everyone's right. Analytics is great. I don't care who you are. The more information you can get, it's great. And the tendencies, but there's also just intangibles that just come from playing baseball.
Yeah.
Just come from a guy that looks at it like a Bruce Bochy who goes, he is struggling right now and we've got to do this or that or anything. And you can't just go to the computer every time and try to figure out what the deal is.
This kind of made me like my son is he takes lessons every week, and I guess he had told, I don't know if he told me or if he told my wife, but he was like, well, I'm up there. I've got a lot of stuff going through my head. And I was like, well, just find the one that makes that, that your coach is stressing the most and work on that, and the other stuff will come. So, maybe these guys are telling, hey, Adolis, don't swing at high strikes, don't at high fastballs, try to keep your hands in, don't chase. This guy throws 67% changeups when the count's 2-1, whatever it is. A lot of stuff going on in these guys' heads, and Nathaniel Lowe has his recent surge has been because he just tried to simplify it.
Yeah.
And he's being a ball player, and I think that others might be well inclined to follow that advice, and so we'll see what happens.
They get started tonight. Boston's in town. Then the Astros come in. That's an important series.
It really is. It's the last time they play each other, and
the Rangers are ahead in the series right now.
But I mean, that's just a terrible scheduling thing that they don't play the Astros again.
Yeah, now they play Seattle 6 times in the last couple of weeks.
But still, that's criminal. And
no, it should. It's more exciting to have the Astros.
Like next year's schedule, the Rangers, like their last 15 games are against like the NL Central. It's ridiculous. It's they're non-division games. I don't remember who they're against, but I remember a lot. I think they finish at Cleveland next year. So anyway. This is a big week.
Yeah.
This is a tough stretch. The next 7 series are against teams that are right now are above
6 games at home. Is that right?
6 games at home this week, or
they got to win 4 of those.
Next 6 are at home. They have to win the Astro series.
They have to, because they do get the tiebreaker if they win the Astro series.
I just think that's that could be a real big series. If the Astros come in here and wipe the floor with them, the Rangers might do it. That really might do it.
Boy, let's talk about, if we're going to talk about trade deadline stuff and what happened on the trade deadline, how big of a dumb move was that the Astros made? Nothing against Kikuchi, who could really fill a void for them, but you see what they give up for Kikuchi?
Yeah, I did, and I know the Astros fans aren't happy about it.
At all. It's fun to watch. I'm sorry. As the Ranger fan, you're the professional. It is fun to watch the freak out.
I just wonder what where the Astro, what their thinking is in the front office.
Is it Dana Brown? Is that
Dana Brown's their GM? But when you kind of look at their team right now, Verlander is hurt and old. They have some Tommy John guys next year who aren't going to be ready until into the season.
Kind of the way the Rangers are.
I don't know if you're going to re-sign. Are they going to re-sign Alex Bregman, who's a free agent after this year, and he's been kind of a cornerstone piece for them. And so and
then you've got going into his last year, you've got Tucker, who's hurt, and they don't see him going out. I just read something today where he's not ready for rehab yet.
Okay.
To go out on his rehab, or he's not even taking swings yet. I don't know what's up with him.
Yeah, I think it's a calf. Seems like so. But anyway, you have Alvarez, Tucker, Altuve, who are back next year, and that's pretty good. And I'm probably forgetting. I don't know that Jeremy Pena's a huge difference maker.
No, he's not as good as Correa was.
So anyway, this might be their last chance. I mean, next year does not look good for them unless they go out and spend a pile of money. Their farm system's not good.
And they could really
they just traded some good prospects, for a rental. Kikuchi's a rental,
yes,
and he's not very good. And so it just seems like
I know what you're thinking.
This is a last hurrah.
That's what I thought, and I put that out too. And I thought, you know what they're doing? They're going for it because I think they see next year might be the starting to break it down, and that means Tucker may be somebody they're trading in the offseason.
Maybe.
And to start building up the minors league system again. Of course, they went in the dumps when they got all those first round picks and lost 100 games 3 years in a row or whatever it was.
They were terrible.
I don't know that they'll do that again because that was Jeff Luhnow, wasn't it? That did all of that.
It was Luhnow, and they were terrible, but they were probably better than the White Sox are this year. But
God,
that's another topic we don't need to talk about. But trade deadline. So the Astros, they did a little.
Nobody really. I think
the Mariners made what would appear to be offensive upgrades with Rodriguez and Crawford hurt. As things pertain to the Rangers, that's the Mariners went out and did try to address their incredible lack of offense. The Padres have a really good bullpen now. If you want to look at the bigger picture, the Dodgers might not have done enough. I don't know that the Braves really. I don't remember they did anything. The Cardinal or the Phillies added the closer, the Angels closer Estevez. The Yankees made some sneaky good moves. The Orioles made some moves. So teams did stuff. There just wasn't like a screaming headliner trade like last year. Rangers got Max Scherzer, and Jordan Montgomery. There were no huge deals like that. So it might have been a dud from a hype standpoint. Yeah, there were a lot of teams trying to that were buying, and so supply and demand, I guess. And if prices were too hard. If prices were too high,
then don't overspend. Not the Rangers don't need to overspend because they are set up to be good the next few years.
They are.
The Astros, you can. That's the only thing I can figure is we got to do something because this may be it.
Could be.
Yeah.
They
might be active on that waiver wire when people start. You know how the Angels did it last year.
Right.
They might be sitting there waiting in the wings for some people to start just offloading.
I was thinking the Rangers could do the same thing.
No, they could,
depending on how things are and September 1st and.
Yeah.
I don't know that. The Rangers got better. I will say that. I think the Rangers got better.
I do too.
The only way for them to get as good as they need to get is for
the offense.
Adolis Garcia and Jonah Heim and Leody Taveras and the rest of the really, you could point at everybody that needs to pick up their pace.
Yep. They all do. They're all capable of it. So what is it that they say? Look at the back of the baseball card. On the back of the baseball card, that's usually where they end up no matter what.
Right.
If that's the case, then this team could legitimately just all of a sudden something turns on.
Yeah.
And everybody, you saw what they did in the playoffs.
Sure.
Last year, they just back to back, they would just come up and make people pay. Going all the way. And then the untimely home run for somebody like when going into the ninth inning of the World Series and then Semien hits that home run that just kind of seals the deal. It already looked like the Rangers were going to win that game. And then you just crush them with that home run.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's there, but that's what but they would get out on people. They would get out there and manufacture runs. Right now I think they're over trying to manufacture runs at some point.
I don't know.
They may not stick with the Josh Smith in the leadoff spot though. Maybe they go back to Semien.
Maybe.
I don't know because that was 2 days that didn't look great.
Yeah, well, I don't think that was the problem.
No.
I don't. I think it does take some getting used to probably.
And Josh Young's going to be good. He's going to get there.
He might be. Josh Smith might be overthinking the leadoff spot a little bit. I don't know, but.
Right. But Josh Young is going to be the guy I think that's going to because he's always relatively consistent. He's got to get into rhythm though. People got to understand he may look like total. I'm not going to say it, but this week where he is at 1 for 16 or something like that, and you can't hold that against him at all.
Right.
For getting up there and putting together at bats and getting back in rhythm and playing ball.
Yeah.
Well, I went out and saw Josh play in Frisco. You were gone. I went out to Frisco to go watch him play. We talked to him. I don't know if any of y'all saw the video on the YouTube channel after the game, and he just flat out told me I swung at pitches that I normally don't swing at because I was anxious. He was so ready to, he is like a gym rat. He's just a baseball rat, wanted to play so bad, so glad to be out there competing. He thought it was fantastic, but he said, I'm anxious. And I swung at a pitch that I shouldn't have been swinging at. He goes, I normally don't swing at those pitches, but he was up there looking to swing.
Yeah.
Still got a single, got a few hits every night, put together good at bats, played third base a couple nights. He DH'd the second night. But we'll get into more of my Frisco trip when we get down to the bus league, which it may be time to do.
Well, first off though, we talked about one name that's going pretty well right now offensively is Nathaniel Lowe. And he had a nice homestand, which makes Nathaniel, the One Rangers Way safe at home player of the homestand from the last homestand. If you don't know about One Rangers Way, it's the Rangers and the Cordish companies will be opening One Rangers Way in January. You can stop by their office and their model and take a look. They're leasing now. They think they had about a quarter of their inventory already booked up.
Yeah.
Look, One Rangers Way, it's the first and only residential community that's in the entertainment district. You can walk to Rangers games. Mm-hmm. They're going to take care of you. They have
looks so cool.
They have a sports bar, a swim up pool, a sports viewing lounge. The floor plans are all named after Rangers people. They want you to have pets. They have a pet spa for crying out loud. So floor plans are online at onerangersway.com. Live like a champion at One Rangers Way.
Yeah, and we're going to go back out there.
Yeah, next week. No,
2 weeks. Next week is
3 weeks.
Yes,
22nd-ish.
We were going to do it next week, but John decided to go to New York.
That's fine.
That's right. So we're going to do it, but we're going to go back out there, guys, and do that. I'm telling you, you ought to see these things. Nice people. I mean, they look cool.
Yeah, it does look like a good deal.
I tell you what, let's go. We don't have a guest today. Let's go down in the bus leagues right after this. Right. Down in the bus leagues is brought to you by the Frisco Rough Riders. Jeff, what's going on down in Frisco?
Well, right now they're on a long road trip. They're in San Antonio now. After this, they head out to Midland. They don't get back to Riders Field until Tuesday, August 13th against Springfield, the Cardinals affiliate. That week, on the 15th, it's Thirsty Thursday. I always like Friday Night Lights on August 16th, post-game fireworks. On the 17th, they're calling it Loteria. Kids Run the Bases post-game presented by Raising Cane's. And then Sunday the 18th, Summer Fireworks. And it's also the kids' fun. So kids get to have a lot of fun on Saturday and Sunday at Riders Field. So for more information, go to MILB.com/Frisco.
All right, guys, now it's time to go down in the bus leagues. Again, brought to you by the Frisco Rough Riders. The way we do, we start at the top. We go all the way down, starting at AAA, AA, single A, down into the ACL, and we're going to go down to the DCL too. ACL's finished. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we're going to start with AAA with the Round Rock Express. And since we didn't have a guest, but Round Rock is a sponsor of ours, and they always sponsor our guest segment. Jeff, why don't we talk about what's going on at Round Rock just to get it started, since we're going to talk about them anyway?
Yeah, they're at home right now. They're playing Sugarland, the Astros AAA team. It's their Hall of Fame Express night tonight. Cool deal there. Then tomorrow, Saturday the 3rd, Napoleon Dynamite's going to be on hand. His name is John Heater. Flippin' sweet night with John Heater. Then Sunday, Kids Day. I think they got some fireworks. Then they go on the road to Oklahoma City. They're back in town in Round Rock on the 13th. So for more information on that, go to MILB.com/round-rock. And then there's one other note. about Round Rock, and this is pretty cool. You know, Round Rock is our sponsor, but so is the Nolan Ryan Foundation, and they're doing a pretty cool thing. I believe it's tonight. The Nolan Ryan Foundation is awarding a $500,000 endowment to RBI Austin, which is a cool deal. They're doing a pregame check presentation tonight. It's going to be it's not pregame. Did I say pregame? It's going to be in the second inning. Anyway, Kat Osterman, who everybody might know, the Olympic medalist, the great pitcher who went to the University of Texas. She's on the board of directors for RBI Austin. So she's going to get she's going to take the check and run hopefully back to RBI Austin. But the endowment's part of the RBI Austin's Home Field Advantage capital campaign, and that seeks to provide a permanent home for the RBI Austin. So $500,000 is going to go a long way to help with that. You know, turf fields. The Ryan family has gotten into the turf business, so they could probably swing a deal with that too. So anyway, good stuff happening down there. On the field, John, how's Round Rock doing?
Yeah, they're actually pretty good. You know what? Before we even go to Round Rock and do that, this is the first, we've been doing this all season long. This is the first week I can say every Texas Ranger affiliate is got a winning record.
Hey,
every one of them.
That's pretty strong.
Okay, so let's start with Round Rock. They're 15-14 in the second half. They're doing the second half. 15-14. They're 6-4 in their last 10, and they won their last one. One name we want to bring up is the newest member of the Round Rock Express, who came in and pitched 1 2/3 the other night of scoreless, and that's Walter
Pennington.
Walter Pennington.
Yeah, got him from the Royals for Lorenzen. He was on the 40-man. He made his MLB debut earlier this year, and don't know that he's going to help the club this year. But Chris Young talked about how he's going to be in the mix as a left-handed reliever next year. So they seem pretty excited to get him. Elsewhere, look, and I'm just telling you right now, we told you this was going to happen. Blaine Krim is on fire.
Golly.
He's got his average up to 264. I know that doesn't sound great, but from where it was, this is really, really good. The guy's
hit like 400 in the last.
Yeah, he had a great July. He's driving in runs. That OPS is now up to 788. This is what Blaine Krim does. He starts a little slow for whatever reason, and then when it gets warm, he gets hot. And don't be surprised if he ends up close to 300, where he usually is. He's going to drive in a bunch of runs. I don't know what more we can say. We like Blaine a lot. He's been on our show numerous times. But this guy can play. This guy can hit. And if the Rangers aren't satisfied with first base, though, like we mentioned, that Nathaniel Lowe probably might be their most consistent hitter right now. Blaine Krim's a right-handed bat. I just think, as hot as he is, he has an opportunity to maybe be called up. The Rangers have shown this year, and they just did it with Ezekiel Duran, who was the PCL Player of the Week last week. They did it with Derek Hill. If you're hitting, whether you're on the 40-man or not, they're gonna try to take advantage and get you on the big league roster and give you a chance. So he's having a good little run at it, a good little go right now. Sandro Fabian has picked it up. Dustin Harris has done really well too. So these guys, after kind of wallowing or just not doing a whole heck of a lot, they're doing it now. And one thing that we'd be remiss to not mention is that Davis Wenzel was designated for assignment and then traded to the Reds. Friend of the show. His parents are awesome.
Great people. Yeah,
they've been longtime subscribers to Rangers Today.
Really close to Cody Bradford and his wife.
Yeah, from their Baylor ties. So we hate to see him move on, but hopefully there's a clear path for him to get more big league time with the Reds. Good guy, heart's in the right place.
Good player too. I just think
he's been healthy and things have turned around from the last 2 years after being kind of injury plagued for a while there earlier in his career. So good luck to our buddy Davis Wenzel.
Absolutely. And I hope it does work out for Davis. He's always been super nice to us and all of that. And you know what? He needs to catch on with a team that can throw him up there for a couple months and just let him hit big league pitching, and maybe the Reds can do that for him. But let's go down to Double-A. I was in Double-A. I went out to see Kumar Rocker.
Okay.
Who did he pitch tonight? Does he pitch?
I would think he pitches tonight.
Yep. But let me tell you something. He pitched 3 innings. He of shutout ball, struck out 4 or 5, I think. That guy, he was hitting 98 to 99, 97 to 99. We talked to him afterwards. Again, go to the YouTube channel if you want to see that. We talked to him afterward. Maybe somebody would try to get on this show. He's kind of an introverted guy. He's really not a big.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, I know. I'm a more extroverted. I say that. My wife is the complete opposite. In our marriages, we're the opposite.
We are.
Your wife is more outgoing, like I am, and then my wife's like you. You're a little more reserved, but great when you get you talking finally. But Kumar was amazing. Josh, that was Josh Young's night that he was out there also.
Yeah.
Cody Bradford pitched that night.
Yeah.
So you got to talk to all 3 of those guys while I was out there. It's always fun to go out to Frisco. Obviously, they're a sponsor of us. It's great to go out there and see them. But Frisco is 19-11, still in first place. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row. Man. I mean, they've been good all year.
Yeah,
and they won the first half. They've already made the playoffs.
Right. Well, with one of the byproducts of the draft is you have an influx of guys that are going to eventually get out and play.
Right.
So you have to kind of clean up your rosters. You make some promotions. One of those was Mitch Bratt, who made his
5 innings
Double-A debut last night. Allowed 1 hit and 5 scoreless. I think they won the game 1-0. So good for him. He was on a heater in July when we had him on the minor league show. It was just starting. So
remember everybody we talked to that was a part of the minor league organization,
yeah.
from Ross to everybody, was saying when I would ask them about what's a name that no one's talking about, and they would all say Mitch Bratt.
Yeah.
In other words, ignore the numbers of Mitch Bratt. This is a guy that he's going. He's coming and he's going, and look at what he's done.
Yeah. So the Frisco lineup, while it looks mostly the same, they promoted Luis Mieses from Hickory along with Bratt. Released Giselle Cepeda, who was the
he was playing the other
Cuban
night when
player. He has been released. Franier Chavez was transferred up to from Frisco to Round Rock. Abby Ortiz is heating up a little bit here. I know we mentioned that last week. It's
Cody Freeman still
continued. Cody Freeman is their top power hitter. Josh Hatcher is their top run producer. So, it's just a team that knows how to win. And then gone from the roster, sent for Carson Kelly is Liam Hicks, the catcher who we had all teed up to come on the show. He wasn't the guy who couldn't make it this week, but he was going to come on the minor league show. He got sent to the Tigers for Carson Kelly. He had cooled off a little bit here in July, but he was the fall league batting champ last year, 2023. So he was traded, and so was Tyler Owens, the right-hander reliever, who had he's been traded twice now in the last year because the Rangers got him from the Braves and the JP Martinez deal. So a couple guys who were part of the club are gone. Not quite as drastic as last year when the Rangers traded away Luis Angel Acuna and Tommy Sajasi, TK Roby. So not quite the blow, but still.
But if you get guys,
a little bit different look in Round Rock.
I'm going to tell you right now, if y'all want to go see, go look at Kumar Rocker. I'm telling you right now, Kumar was, even in the ACL and whatever, he gave up a few runs doing all of that. But I'm telling you right now, he was bearing down. He was there, and he's always been you can't talk about him. Ask a Rangers guy about him without what a competitor he is. Oh my God!
And Arizona, great. I think he was just there getting his work in. I think you put some butts in the seats watching him.
It changes everything.
I think it changes everything
because it was pretty packed.
I think he went out. I think he went out there and competed. On the pitching side, Emiliano Teodo has kind of been on a little deload program, so he's going to return this
There's
week.
Your answer for everyone asking. He is not hurt.
He's not hurt. And Ryan Garcia has his ERA under 4. He has pitched his tail off lately. Good for him.
He's my underrated guy always.
We need to get him back on the show.
I'm telling you, because he was the guy that came out of college. He was the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year, played for UCLA. He was that second-round pick that year.
Yeah.
I think, was he that year that Young and them were in the draft?
I don't remember. That sounds about right.
And he would, because you had both Young and Wenzel were technically first-round picks because Wenzel was there.
You're right.
And then they got into the second round, and I think it was, but he was hurt coming out of college.
He got hurt after only a few starts at, I think, Spokane at the time.
But his numbers were crazy in college. They were good.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher.
He had like a 1.7.
And he's such a good guy.
Very nice guy.
All
Always sees us when he sees us, comes out. Just a friendly guy. Okay, so that's the Frisco Rough Riders. Let's go down to Hickory, where Hickory is 18-15,
Good.
6-4 in their last 10, and they've won their last 4. But they're still not the hottest team in the organization. Let's talk about the Hickory Crawdads.
Look, you can't talk about Hickory without talking about Sebastian Walcott. His average is up above 250.
10 bombs.
He's reached double figures in home runs. He's almost reached triple figures in strikeouts, which isn't good. But this is a guy who's always gonna strike out. OPS of 785. So for just remembering the depths from which he came, really anybody you could talk about anybody at this Hickory team. They were terrible early on. Cameron Colley's heating up too. A friend of the show, somebody else we need to get back on. Glider Figueroa hasn't quite figured out the new level yet. He's hitting 179, although when he hits the ball, it goes out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
So kind of a mixed bag there. But we did have some promotions to Hickory. The Rangers sent him out in an email the other day, right at the trade deadline. So these all kind of got buried. But Arturo Disla has been transferred to Down East. Danver Cueva is now in Down East, and John's boy Isaac Tiger is now in Down East, or has been from Down East to Hickory. Those three are now in Hickory.
He's still my dude.
Yep. And the pitching side, Aiden Curry. I know we say it every time. He's getting better, and that's what you want to see. If these guys are struggling, okay. What's going to happen? Well, how are they going to handle it? And he's handled it the right way. He's gotten better. Joseph Montalvo is no longer in the organization. He was traded in the Chafin deal to the Tigers. Excuse me. And then we always look at Alejandro Rosario because he's the good story. Still not walking guys and still striking out a bunch of guys. So I would expect that this roster is still going to get an influx of pitchers from Down East. The guys who we're going to talk about, and we've been talking about all year, they need to get moved up. It's just a matter of finding the right spot.
And you know what I love about us and doing this show and what we do? William Puckett is a big fan of ours. He does all of that. William lives in Hickory. He's a season ticket holder, goes to all the games. I made a comment about Isaac Tiger, and he messaged me and said, "What am I looking for?" And I said, "This dude throws upper 90s. He's got an amazing slider. So you're going to like this kid." He goes, "All right, I'm ready to go." He's going to be out there watching Isaac Tiger play.
Yeah.
He reached out to us because he knew this guy's coming to where I'm going to be. So big shout out to William for doing that. And I love that we've got that. We see him in spring training, but you get to see him in game action, which next year we got to do that. We've got to make a plan at some point.
Yeah, I know we've been saying that for a couple of years, but
we'll do it.
It'll free us up.
Maybe we'll do something with a road trip and get some fans to go. We'll just all go have some fun somewhere. Anyway, let's go.
We're not paying for it.
No. We'll put together a package you can buy.
Put some legal disclaimers on this.
Yeah.
On John here.
We'll put a package together that maybe we can get with a travel agent and make a fun trip. Okay, Down East Wood Ducks. Finally, 17-15. They are the hottest team in the league. In this organization, they are 8-2 in their last 10. They have won 7 in a row. The Down East Wood Ducks, they've climbed up to second place in the. Is that the Sally League or is that the Carolina League? Carolina League. And they need to make a run because this is the last year Down East in Kinston's going to be a part of this.
Yeah, it'd be a nice way to go out with at least a playoff appearance, and then looking like it's possible. At Chedrick Vargas, the shortstop and third baseman, second baseman, whatever you want to call him. He's now their top guy, I think. Although they, with the end of the ACL season,
they're about to get a bomb from. They might get some draftees.
They got Pablo Guerrero.
Okay,
they got Jeremy Cabrera. Here's one thing about Cabrera: the Rangers always spell it with a Y, but everybody else spells it with an I. Like MILB, his page is an I. You see it, I think, in the. You just see it around an I. I'm pretty sure it's a Y.
So you're talking about the end of his first name.
The end of his first name.
Okay.
Yeah. But it needs to be investigated a little bit more. Hardcore investigative journalism. Jose De Jesus is also now in Down East. Kyle Larson, who had been in Arizona, and Thomas Ireland are Down East. Ireland actually threw a live batting practice to Josh Young last week, and then just kind of shipped on out to Down East. Released, though, from Down East is JoJo Blackman, who was an 11th round pick the same year as TK, right after, so 21, I think.
Fast. He was
fast, yeah, but it just hasn't clicked for him.
But it hasn't, and Down East might get an influx of some of these draft picks. You might see more.
Yeah, that's going to be happening. That's going to be happening pretty soon.
Because you got Moore, and you got what's the outfielder from Tennessee,
Dreiling,
yeah,
Cook from North Carolina. A couple names to watch on the pitching side. The potential promotions: Paul Bonzagni, who I think is from Grapevine High School, Grapevine or Southlake. He is a candidate to get promoted. So is David Davalillo and Jose Gonzalez, guys we've been talking about pretty much all darn year. So look for that to happen at some point. Yeah. So then Arizona,
you may go to them. The Arizona Complex, they are done.
They're done.
The Dodgers ended up winning it all.
That's right.
But the Arizona Complex League Rangers did finish with 36-24.
Yeah.
Was what they finished. They did win their little division, so they made the playoffs. I guess they lost. They only one game, right? They play one game and you lose.
Yeah, I think so. And then I think maybe the finals of best of 3. I'm not sure, but they didn't reach it. But they're a good. It's a young team. We've talked about Jeremy Cabrera and Jose De Jesus and Guerrero. All these guys we've talked about kind of all year, and they're getting their just due. I would think that Braylon Morrell is not far behind. He finished up. He had a big June. He had a real big July. I would think that he's a candidate to move on to Down East.
Yeah.
And right now, although everything's done in Down East, I'm sorry, in Arizona. They're playing it's an unofficial league, but they call it the Bridge League, and every team is involved. It's playing, and it's because these draftees now with the new complex season starting so early, they don't have anywhere to play. They haven't played for a while. They don't have anywhere to kind of get warmed up to go out. So
their seasons have been over. Now they're coming.
So they have they're calling it a Bridge League. So they're playing games. There's 3 games a week. All the Rangers draft picks have played in them. They're not. It's not their professional debut because this isn't sanctioned baseball.
Really, not stats or anything.
It's just getting out and loosening up your arms, getting your swing right again,
facing some pitchers,
but the intent is to either get these guys to an affiliate or kind of keep them active until Instruct starts next month. So you're going to see these guys when they show up to Instructs, they're not going to have been sitting around on their butts for a month. They're going to be well-oiled machines and ready to go. So I'm guessing that Morrell might be playing in those games right now, but I would suspect that he sees Down East
about to head out
positively. No questions, no doubt about it. I just can't see him not going out unless he's hurt. Yeah. But haven't heard that. So, but yeah.
Well, let's go
down. He had
a
great year. Jesus had a great year. Guerrero, Cabrera, all had great years there. So
Guerrero's already hit a home run in Down East.
Yeah, they definitely deserve a chance to go to a full season affiliate and see what happens.
Yep. DSL, that's Dominican Summer League. There's 2 teams there. Both of them have kind of sputtered just a bit, but they're still winning. The red team, both of them were leading their division all season, all through the Dominican Summer League. Now they're both in second place.
Oh man.
The red team is 28-14. They're 3-7 in their last 10, but they did win their last couple of games. Blue team is 22-17, 4-6 in their last 10, and they lost their last game.
Yeah, well, they've lost some players.
They're getting moved up. Yeah,
that moved to Arizona basically.
Right.
But if you look at the red team, Curly Martha, who was got the second biggest bonus in January, he's really kind of putting things together. He's got 4 home runs. His OPS is 862, hitting around 300, on base 403. I mean, he's doing a lot of good things for them. And they obviously lost Castillo earlier. He finished up hitting the ball really well down there. Paulino Santana, who was the MVP of the All-Star game they had down there, still hasn't homered, but you look at the other stuff. For one reason, he's 17, so don't worry about the home runs. He's got he's got 3 triples, 3 doubles. Still has walked more than he has struck out.
God, that's great.
So that's pretty darn impressive. So he's hitting 289. His on base is 468. So good for him.
Hey, you know what? I was watching the documentary about Pete Rose, who was not a home run hitter, and just about getting on base and getting a lot of hits. Look, right now he's going to fill out. I mean, he's 17 years old. He's a pretty big kid,
right?
But he's
17.
But he's
you just don't worry about it. And keep in mind too that the Rangers, until a few years ago, baseball wide, these kids would have just signed. It would have been part of the July 2nd class as it was deemed back then, and they might not even play at all. So it's pretty good that they're getting an opportunity. And
so without a doubt, next year he's probably going to come over here and Paulino and come over here probably and at least do the ACL before heading out to an affiliate.
Yeah, and I would think that they would be.
And Hickory's going to be low A next year. They're coming back to the Carolina.
That's right. So anyway, and then on the pitching front, we didn't mention this in the big league segment, but Christopher Hernandez, who is Jonathan Hernandez's brother, he's pitching well, but Jonathan was designated for assignment the other
Somebody
day.
Pick him up.
You would think, although he doesn't have options, that's always kind of something that hangs around these guys.
When they run out of options, that's the only reason he was DFA'd.
If you can't be optioned, that's a big deal. That's a tough one for teams to swallow. So
you know who I'd get him? White Sox. You go get the guy that throws 100 and do that, and let him come up here and play in our team and work his crap out and see if you can get him to do something. He's got an arm.
He does.
And when he's got his stuff working, he is tough to hit.
Well, right, but that's just it. It's too inconsistent. He throws 100 or 98, doesn't strike out a ton of guys.
No.
And so it
would surprise me if he doesn't get claimed by somebody that's out of it.
But I mean, he was DFA'd Tuesday, so I mean the window might have closed. He might have to take an outright. So anyway, we'll see what happens because they can't trade him. The trade deadline's over with. So
that's done. So he either accepts an assignment if they want. I'm sure the Rangers
he would have to accept an assignment because he's
never been DFA'd.
Never been DFA'd.
So if nobody's claimed him, he has to accept the outright. Okay, yes. All right. Well, that's good to keep him in this.
If he hasn't been claimed, yeah. But anyway,
sure we'll find. That could be breaking news that we'll see in a little bit. Anyway, anything else?
No.
You're out there all week, and of course,
out there all week. It sounds like a good crowd tonight. The Saturday game is almost sold out. Look, if you guys need tickets, what you need to do is download the Autograph app.
Oh yeah,
Autograph.ai. It's in your app store. They sell tickets.
Yeah,
and they sell tickets without ticket fees.
That's cool.
So, absolutely, positively, no questions asked. Download that app and buy your tickets through there because you can get regular. I mean, they're regular tickets. Just you don't have to pay all those ridiculous damn fees. So it's Autograph.ai. Give it a download. They run contests for autograph stuff, for memorabilia, for jerseys, for just about everything. They have our stories. Rangers Today is on there. So if you need to catch up on the ball club, our stories are there. And anyway, so if you want tickets, download the Autograph app.
All right, guys, that's it. It's been another interesting week. The trade deadline is over. We're in the home stretch now. We are 2/3 through the season.
Yeah.
Got that last bit that's coming up. The Rangers are still in this. Cannot believe they're still in this the way they've played, but nobody else in the American League West is. Look, nobody in the American League West is going to be the wild card team unless a lot of people just really crap the bed here. I could say, the bed, but they've got too many teams in front of them. But it's fun. This team has not played up to what they're capable of. We talked about all of that, but they're still in this thing. They've got meaningful baseball to play right now. They're by no means out of it, although most people think they are, or some people think they are. They're by no means out of it yet. Not at all. And they're playing the teams that are ahead of them in the West. So, guys, this one's always been fun. We didn't have a guest, so for Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore. Until next week and next Friday.
Next Friday.
Guys, we'll see you at the yard.